Well, hello neighbors. Welcome to my deck. Sun has come out, even though it's minus a couple of degrees outside. There's lots of snow. Here on the deck, it's a beautiful day. Thought I'd continue my value series and even my specific comparison in the Glen Moray series. So today we're going to look at a single malt scotch. This is Glen Moray, the Cabernet cask finish. Again, thanks for joining me. We're still in isolation. Everyone here in the home is good, and I hope you're well. This series, as you can see, this is actually all I have currently for these, just these three. But Glen Moray in my area often go on sale, and even regular price, they're at $50 a bottle, which for a single malt is okay. They're non-age stamp, so sometimes, depending on the small batch nature or the fresh casking or whatnot, really age to me is just some part of the equation. In larger distilleries, age, just for me, for my taste, just gives me a little bit more to think about. But these ones are non-age stamp. As I've said across the other bottles, I think likely they're probably the core is somewhere around 6 to 8 years. And then they might have some older in the blend just to get the flavor profile that they want. But I'm imagining somewhere it's going to orbit around that 8-year-old. I don't know that, but I imagine it's... and like the one that Sherry Cask finished, this will be their, single malt. It's all barley. It'll be aged probably into that 6-7 year mark in ex-bourbon. And then it will be aged for 8 to 10 months, somewhere like that. In this case, this is in ex-Cabernet wine casks. So we'll see what that does. It's released at 40%. Even though there is a color difference across all three of them, I really think the color is suspect. Anytime color is something that I really want to care about is when I know for sure it's all natural. That they've said all over this thing, no coloring. Also, at 40%, and it doesn't mention it, it's very likely chill filtered. Okay, so a Speyside single malt scotch, very affordable. This one is finished in Cabernet, Cabernet casks, Cabernet wine casks. Let's see what we get. So the nose is light lemon. Stays around there. It's not a sharp, crisp lemon, so maybe a bit of an orange or a grapefruit. So there's some depth to the citrus notes. There is a light fruity, maybe a tropical fruit note. Gentle, not lots. Sweet vanilla, sweet sugar. Yeah, so mostly that lemon and tropical fruit note. Fairly gentle, not deep, not spicy. Maybe slightly sour, hard to say. Let's see how it tastes. Sláinte. The taste in this one has me puzzled. It has some of those same notes that you get on the nose carry into the palate. Some of that fruiting, some of that tropical fruit. But for me, it's slightly bitter, almost right away. Doesn't coat well, and not a lot of spice comes on. Yeah. The finish isn't bitter, so it's not like an over tannined or over wood. Sometimes it gets a little bitter or something like that. Something in the middle of the palate, or even early in the palate for me that goes quickly from, I think this is going to be fruity, comes right back in, a little bit sour, a little bit bitter, and kind of just stays tight. That's how I would describe this. And I've given it a good chance to open up, actually. I feel like this dram is a little bit tight. Not very spicy, not a wide palate, not very expressive. Nose is okay. Nose is interesting. So for me, out of these three, I'll do a quick comparison in a second here, but I like this the least, significantly the least. It is really, for me, it's under 3 stars, and I know it's a value dram, and I really appreciate having it. I don't regret buying it at all. I think I got it for around $35, but I just, especially sitting on the shelf at $50, I wouldn't recommend it unless you're really looking for that wine finish, and you want to know how that changes the spirit. But this wine finish, not a winner for me. Sits at really under 3. Not liking it that much. So that's my thoughts. Now let's go through the comparison. So let's go back into the sherry cask finish. So the sherry cask finish, again, very similar, right? It's going to be that all barley, ex-bourbon to 6-7 years, somewhere in there, in 8 to 10 months in Oloroso sherry. Something like that. This, the fruit adds, for me, it's not a really well-developed red fruit, but it's like a maraschino cherry red fruit, right? So it's got that sweetness from that simple syrup that the cherries are in, and it's got a little bit of that red cherry note. Or maybe cherries pushing it. So maybe really just a fruit cocktail, but it definitely is a fruitier nose than the Cabernet. Yeah, more gentle in the palate. Fruit continues, add a little bit of honey, and a bit more malt character, and a little bit of spice, just a splash of cinnamon. And right there, actually, so that was in the finish, but just a whiff of chocolate. So, like this one a lot more than the Cabernet. Let's see how the original goes. So this will be just the original ex-bourbon, that 6 to 7 years. Maybe it's got a little more age in it. I don't know. Cut yellow apple, lemon, malt. Pretty simple. Taste. Yeah. Not spicy enough to be like a cooked apple blossom, but I've got a little play of malt that tastes a little bit cereal, a little bit grainy, in with really that key apple kind of, not apple, a little bit apple. Sorry, lemon is where I was going with that citrus taste. I've said before, this one on the second sip feels a little more sprightly. Not amazing, but I enjoy it. Yesterday, I enjoyed it more than yesterday. I don't know, a few days ago, I enjoyed it more than the Glen Moray. Yeah, and there it is perking up on my tongue. So I do like the spicing of it. But I will say that the ex-sherry today is lovely in the sunshine. I don't find it as expressive, but it's got some nice fruit notes. Come back to where I started today, which was the Cabernet finish of the Glen Moray single malt Speyside Scotch. Now it's even slightly, no, not bitter on the nose, but it's sour on the nose. Tropical fruits versus kind of that cherry light fruit cocktail versus really lemon. Okay. It's a different taste. I can sit at 3 stars. Certainly worth having this series. As I said, I got this under 30, around 35. Just waited till they go on sale because they're in regular stock here in a number of liquor stores. But they can be on the shelf for up to $50. And at $50, it's tough for me to recommend because there's a number of single malts out there that I really like. I find very expressive, like even for a non-aged temp, Beanston Virgin Oak. I find so many more layers of flavor, and it's natural color on chill filtered and 46% or so. And it's in the same price range at that $50 mark. Anyways, thanks for tuning in here at the deck. As I often say during at least this time that we're at home, that I hope you're well. I think I shared, I dusted off my Wii. I've been ringing in every day and challenging the kids to some games, just having some fun while we're getting work done at home. So thanks for joining me. That was my thought across these 3 Glen Moray bottles. Hope you're doing well. Take care.